Thanks for stopping by. My name is Candace Jones, and I'm the attorney next door. Last time we talked about 10 reasons why kids may enter the foster care system. Today we're going to talk about the top 2 reasons why kids may go into the foster care system. I've been doing this about 7 years, and my observations are that it's the B counts. It's the domestic violence and drug abuse. And these are the reasons why the state is going to get involved. Um, so a lot of times if someone is addicted to alcohol or some type of drug of choice, meth or cocaine, heroin, uh, sometimes even marijuana, depending on how severe the addiction may be. An addiction is defined as when you can't live without it, right? If you can't go a couple hours, a couple days, a week without this substance, then you may want to think twice about whether or not you're addicted. And so the concern is the way that addiction will play out in your behavior. Are the kids getting to school on time? Are the kids getting enough to eat? Is there enough food in the home? Are the kids getting their homework done? Is there somebody around to help them? Are their grades failing? Are they sleeping in class because they're not getting enough rest at night because of whatever patterns of activity may be going on in the home? And there's a lot of other ways that it can manifest. Maybe there's drug paraphernalia left out in the home that's easily accessible to the children. So for those reasons, when that type of manifestation is showing, the state's going to get involved and say, hey, like, we're kind of concerned about the safety of the kids. The other reason, domestic violence, that can take place in a lot of different forms, and it has different degrees of severity. But even, maybe there's just some pushing, shoving, and some yelling. At that point, you really want to consider whether or not your relationship is healthy. Are you communicating in a healthy way? Every relationship is going to have struggles. Everyone's going to have disagreements, but how do you handle them? Is there manipulation or control, saying my way or the highway? Is there you're not good enough, you're not smart enough to have this opinion that's contrary to me? How are you handling the conflict, or how are the parties handling the conflict? Because the way you handle the conflict determines whether or not there's a domestic violence element to the relationship. And so really that's about counseling, figuring out the healthy ways to communicate. And if one party isn't willing to address the way communication is being done in the relationship, then the question is how are these dynamics going to continue, and should they continue, and what are the options? As far as drug abuse, it's also preventable in that a lot of times there are outsiders, family members, friends, godparents, community, you know, relations who are observing the negative behavior but don't want to say anything, want to mind their own business. And that's an option. But the other option is to, have conversations with people when you see them struggling. Because, the real moral of the story is if you're not vigilant on yourself, your habits, your relationships, the way you communicate, what you can't live without, and the government sees a problem with it and the way that it's impacting the children, and you don't fix it, then ultimately the government might step in and try to fix it.